Hi everyone. So here is Moonlight Soul and my co-host Adrian Gibson from Just Green Astrology, who is still my actual host, and we still recording from the same house. So welcome on screen, Adrian.
Well, thank you, Mila. Glad to be here. I know you're in the next room.
Yeah, and it's a pleasure for me to be here still too.
Yay. It's been a rocky time doing this Libra energy. It's been an interesting journey, but
we've
good.
we've been experiencing some very interesting dynamics poking their head up for sure.
Yeah, yeah. But it's good. I feel empowered by it. So,
Yeah, and that's what we are going to be talking about. The new moon, solar eclipse in Libra coming up tomorrow, right off the bat. So,
yes, right off the bat.
yeah,
So shall I pull up the chart?
sure.
Let us. Let us jump right in.
Yeah, things that has definitely moved a little since we had the new full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces.
Yes. And I love that nice stellium at the top of the chart there.
Yeah,
South Node, Moon, Sun, and Mercury. So, yeah, for me, this is about relationship dynamics. And because the Sun and the Moon have passed the South Node and picked up some information, we are, looking at some of I call it the dregs of our relationship dynamics that need to be reworked.
oh, for
Yeah.
sure.
Coming with this huge power push with the eclipse so that we can really begin something new with the way that we relate to those around us and the world around us, really. Um, and then that Mercury in a new phase conjunction to the eclipse and the new moon
Mhm.
is pointing out to me that it requires a brand new shift in perception. We have to perceive our relationships differently, um, or we are beginning a cycle of perceiving our relationships differently. So this conjunction, it has a lot of aspects that are involved that I guess we will break down one by one.
Absolutely. And also, this is a first eclipse in Libra with the new phase to note because we had the cycle that's now ending and resetting. You know, the eclipse in Libra which we had last year in October. That one was in a closing phase, and so was the lunar eclipse in
Hmm.
Libra in March. So this we can see how the energy is shifting now because we no longer going to be going over forever about what was and just trying to recreate the same pattern, but this Mars still squaring the nodes and squaring the eclipse, it's pushing us forward as the rule of the north node. So it's like there is this pressure to break free from the outdated pattern.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I was noticing that Mars square, and I think it'll be there for a little while. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna um it's working on those nodes. Um, but yeah, the two different squares, the crisis in action is with this North Node, and the crisis in consciousness, which is a breaking away from a consensus belief system to free ourselves. And it really, Mars is helping us to really move toward that North Node.
Yes, yes,
But,
absolutely. And
but
also, this Mercury is supporting it because of this upcoming trine to Jupiter that is already in action. Because and Jupiter technically is by proxy through the trine to Mercury, trining the eclipse, even though it is a wide door, but technically it is happening. And Jupiter, this is a closing trine, which is like a harvest, and also Jupiter being ruled by Mercury, Mercury being a new phase to the eclipse, this is what's allowing for the expansion of consciousness because Jupiter is on the Aquarian decan. So Jupiter is like definitely supporting us in this forward motion. And then, as we just spoken about, this triple square between Jupiter and Saturn, which is still technically within a degree, and we'll be experiencing two more time. This is the crisis in action, which is telling us that things have to change because the collective expansion, which we all agreed on, because we, from traditional astrology perspective, we know that a Gemini rule contracts, like signed contracts when we sign on a dotted line, right? And Jupiter is like, well, I'm just supporting you in what you sign up for, just like everybody else. So in a sense, just as uncomfortable as this square might be, especially when they're showing up on our doorstep with the people around us pushing our buttons, this is exactly the contract we gave them, these people around us, and we agreed to play these roles, and they agreed to play these roles for us. And this is individual and collective, because this is the time and age when these things have to end. These dynamics that we've been recreating incarnation after incarnation after incarnation, and we still feel trapped in the same web, and now we're trying to break free from it.
Absolutely. Yes. And I can feel the just in my own relationships, I can feel that push, that there's a tension that's there where I recognize that this is the same old game we've been playing. And really, if I want it to change, I have to do something differently. Crisis in action. So yeah, it's good. I'm thankful for it. I mean, not that it's comfortable, it's not comfortable, but that growth edge is never comfortable.
Absolutely. But we have big support in a chart because we have the grand water trine between Saturn as the ruler of still coming like ruler at the moment of Pluto for the final time, Mars as the ruler of the north node, and Venus as the ruler of the south node, and they all connected by this water element, which is the intuition and feeling our emotions, so we can allow them to wash over and through us and release them. So
Yep.
we are supported by these triggers and challenges we are experiencing because they triggering the unhealed energy that is stuck from the past.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And that Saturn in Pisces is helping us to break free from that, dissolve it, and to also at the same time create, as the structures from the outside are dissolving, at the same time, also because Saturn is retrograde, we are learning to place boundaries, new boundaries on top of this dissolving backdrop that help to, secure and strengthen our emotional selves. Because Mars is in Cancer. This water trine is about us really working with our emotional field, like where we have in the past perhaps projected all of that stuff onto others. We're really bringing it back to the center right now and learning to rework it.
Absolutely. And to me, it's just fascinating how they are in the degree that are correlating with the next signs. So Saturn on a 14 degrees on Pisces is in a Cancer decan of Pisces.
Oh, wow.
Mars on a 15 degrees of Cancer is on a Scorpio decan of
Oh, wow. I
Cancer.
never even
And,
noticed.
and Venus on a 11 degrees of Scorpio is in a Piscean decan. So they literally just like, they are so connected with all of these energies of like, well, like to just add an additional layer of interpretation with the Saturn being in Pisces. This is what we're releasing. But why? Because of the Cancer, we are creating a new sense of who we are. With the Mars
Yes.
being in Cancer, why do we have to face our emotions? Mars doesn't, particularly like being in Cancer. He's exalted in Capricorn by traditional astrology. So being in Cancer, Mars is like, what you call it, soldier in the kitchen. It's like, what do you want me to do over here? This is not what I trained for. So it's like uncomfortable, right? Why? Because we are so attached to these old versions of ourselves, these old identities. And now we got to the point with this Pluto, as a ruler of Scorpio, being on the 29 degrees of Capricorn, ruled by Saturn. And this is, of course, the Virgo decan, I believe, right? Which is these adjustments that we are making. We are transforming and transmuting ourselves because we know our DNA is going through transmutation because of the solar flares and all these, all these interactions we have, with the environments that we are experiencing at the moment. So this Mars squaring the node, pointing to the north node, is saying like, yes, we're going through this transformation, because it's all about self-empowerment. It's all about facing our fears to overcome them and integrate these aspects of ourselves that we were avoiding because we didn't want to look at them, and that's what became our weak spot. And then with this Venus being in Scorpio, which again by traditional astrology, Venus in Scorpio is in detriment because she's in rulership in Taurus. But this is again just labels. Mercury in Libra, ruled by Venus, is saying choose your labels. Just because somebody said to you something that, oh, you doomed because this is happening in your chart, or oh, we all doomed because this is happening in the sky. But it's just a matter of perspective, right? Just like you
Yes.
said, and that was the starting speech. It's all about changing perspective by looking at things differently, facing that which until this point we didn't want to face because it's uncomfortable, but that's exactly what needs to be done to release this energy so we can move forward.
Yes. And then there's something to be said about looking at what happens. I'm learning the art of being able to become objective about what is happening. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that a lot of that will um, happen more frequently as Pluto moves into Aquarius.
And that is also connected to this Mercury being in Aquarian Decan. Well, technically the moon also, moon, sun, and a moon of
Mhm.
Aquarian Decan, and Jupiter also being an Aquarian Decan, because it literally is about this being able to apply this multidimensional lens to experience reality more from the neutral point of view, the 0 point. But it's not about gaslighting, it's not about toxic positivity, and it's not about just blocking our emotions and just pretending that we are living in la la land. It literally is about the multidimensional experience we having as human beings, that all of these aspects are true, like what's going on in the world and the suffering that this is creating, this is true. But if we get stuck just on that one dimension of on that one way of looking at things, that it is not going to be very supportive to us, because we might just go into doom and gloom and hopelessness and just start going
Yes.
downward spiral. And we know like attracts like, so then we will just attract more of the same that will just make us feel even worse, right? So it literally is about being able to switch the gears, but at the same time allow for our nervous system and for our human experience to go through what it needs to go through, but through a ability to also apply the higher perspective, to be able to
Yes.
understand, like, okay, but why is this happening, what is this teaching me? And it just sounds very complex, because this is not what we were being trained to do. We were being trained to live a very linear life, which is just like, okay, I identify this as bad, okay, that's it, everything is bad, right? We weren't being trained to ask questions and try to understand the whys. And this
Yes.
is what, with this, Pluto finishing with this Capricorn, and being on a Virgo decan, this is what we're learning. We are learning to discern. We are learning to do things differently because of all the wisdom we accumulated through previous, everything that happened before, and now try to respond to situations differently, because we don't have to keep recreating the same pattern.
Yeah. Well, I think then that's part of the 29-degree Pluto and Capricorn, that, we are completing this old paradigm. We're completing this old way of being emotionally attached to what's outside of ourselves. We're coming into a place of having our emotions be controlled from within us. And I think in that way, we can withstand the shifts because the emotions are coming. But they aren't something that we have to hold on to. And I think part of it is, I think that the emotions are there to alert us to particular things, but I don't think that we necessarily have to yeah, hold on and put ourselves into there, because I think that's part of what's been going on for thousands of years.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
I think that's part of what we're breaking from. And being objective and being able to watch different energies coming from the different timelines, I think is really important, because if we just stick our consciousness into what's happening in the outside world right now, then we're going to stay in it.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
And that is exactly that, just like you were saying that, like these in emotions, and I think perhaps the word would be like not to allow like us to drown in them. I don't know if that's the right
Yes.
expression, but these emotions, they come in because emotions are energy in motions. These are literally all the stuck energies that are unresolved from the past, whether our life, ancestor life, collective experience, because it's all happening simultaneously. And these energies just want to be, they need to be allowed to wash over us. But I think the key element to this is not to identify ourselves as the emotion, because our higher self, our spirit essence, our soul is not polarized. It's not polarized. We are experiencing all these emotions through the physical body, which is wired to accommodate the experience we have in the matrix, and it works both ways, right? So I feel the key component to this to understand is that I am not my emotion. I'm a divine being experiencing this experience, and this experience is part of this emotion is part of my experience. So it's like I am experiencing sadness or fear or something, but
Yes.
I am not fear. I am not sadness.
Yes.
So
And I am not sadness. Exactly.
exactly. So when we say I'm afraid, or I'm afraid, I'm fearful, or I'm scared, or I'm whatever, it's like we are all identifying ourselves as the emotion, but that is not true, because you, as a I am, as a divine being, our higher self doesn't feel any of this emotion. Our self is experiencing this emotion through the physical
Through
body,
these
which
avatars.
exactly. So I think
Yes.
this is the difference, like how we can. And again, I am experiencing this, and even I trip myself up, because this is again how we were being brought up to talk. I am this, I am that, but the I am, we know, holds a very high frequency, and I am the creator of my reality. So if I say these things, then this is what I'm creating. But when we identify the situation as I am experiencing this, but I am not this emotion, the emotion is just coming and going, it will
Yes.
completely shift the way we experience in life.
Yes. And I think this is part of what we're learning with this Mars square the nodes.
Yes.
We're letting go of the attachment to what's happening outside of ourselves and coming into ourselves, North Node and Aries, because we are not our emotions. We
Yeah.
are just experiencing them. Yeah.
Yeah, and it goes back to this balance, this Libra is all about balance and harmony, and this is in opposition with the North Node. So we are trying to balance the energies that are present and in totality of their expression with the 29 degrees of Pluto and Saturn, Neptune both in Pisces retrograde. But at the same time, we know that there is already this new energy that is present, but we're trying to calibrate how to merge the two worlds, because at the moment, like, oh yeah, I have a vague idea of what Aquarian age might mean, but I have no clue, right? But I have the totality of understanding what Piscean age means, because here it is, all around us, everyday reality, right? So I
Yeah.
feel with this balancing, because Libra is the bridge between different dimensions, the Gemini and the Aquarius, the ground air trine, we are trying to figure out how to make the two fit where we are right here right now, which is the just as I was, as what spirit gave me, the effect of the past, but at the same time we are the cause for the future. So how do we do it? How do we go forward from here, where
Yeah.
our current experience is the effect of the past choices and thoughts and everything, and at the same time as I'm experiencing the past, I'm also creating my future. So how do we
Yes.
bridge the gap? How do we make the future to be different?
Yeah, right. I mean, I look at, just showing up. That's that North Node in Aries, showing up for ourselves. And really, I mean, there's a certain amount of openness that you have to maintain when you don't know what's coming.
Mm.
And I always look at Aries as like trying new things, we got to make these new choices, and do things differently, consciously do things differently. Like, okay, sometimes new choices show up as errors. Oh, I did that by mistake, but oh, that worked out great. This is a conscious, okay, well, I've done this way for so many times. Let's try something. It might not work. Aries is about trial and error and exploration and discovering of the self. And so we just try something new. If you feel an emotion or a sensation like, yeah, go this direction, go do it. It might not work. Not everything works, you just have to try it out. And if it works, continue on. You'll get those psychic hits like, yeah, this is the direction.
Yeah,
Um,
that's the funny thing, that if something already doesn't work, why keep doing it? But we still feel that that's better than trying something completely different. But actually, that trying something different and making mistake will eventually become the different experience from the one we experience in at the moment, and it's not working. So that's the funny thing, like, like we are so afraid to try something different because, again, of the way that we were being conditioned, and also about because of the unhealed wounding of the past conditioning, which is about this Virgo in the lower vibration, the guilt, shame because of the imperfection, and everything else that came from that. So we are afraid of this, this Libra, this judgment, and condemnation and prosecution and all the rest of it. So we just keep doing these nonsensical crazy things that don't work, and they never worked, but we somehow hoping that maybe this time they're gonna work, even though they didn't work for thousands of years, right? Like war is never gonna end war. I mean, it's proven by the history, right? So, but we keep doing it because we don't know what else to do, right?
yeah,
And it doesn't mean that doing something different will be the perfect result the first time round, but if we don't
no,
try something different, we how are we gonna break out of this vicious cycle? Just
this is
like
what I'm saying.
Einstein said, like like doing the same thing and trying to and expecting different result is the definition of insanity. And we've
Yes,
been doing it for a long time. So, and it's in any area of our life, right?
yeah,
So this is like literally like this wake up call with this
yeah,
Mars square in the nodes, Jupiter square in Saturn. It's going to square Neptune also next year, from Cancer to Aries. So it's like it's a wake up call. Like, hey, listen, this story is over. This story is finished, and this is the in between where we just need to find a different way, and it's not easy because there is no blueprint. There is no
yeah.
blueprint.
There is no blueprint. It's within us, each of us is going to feel a different route to go. It may not work, but somebody else's might work, and then you can say, "Oh, let me try that." I mean, it will require all of us to be doing the trial and error, and somewhere along the way, somebody's going to hit it. You know, one of the things that I've been hearing about for a while is that in this next period of time, one of the things that will happen is that we'll come together in these smaller communities.
Mm.
I don't know if that will work, but it makes sense that it will because this huge world stage is so difficult to control. It's so difficult to find a balance. Um, it, causes such havoc. It, I remember hearing once a while ago that we grow all these strawberries in the United States, but they all get shipped somewhere else, which is just crazy. Why spend so much money instead of just growing our strawberries and eating them? But it's part of this, perhaps even a trial and error idea to turn it into this whole global thing. And that's the direction. But I think that at this point we can say maybe not. Maybe
Uh,
it's not a good trial and error.
what I received while you were saying, I got a download that um, that's how it started. We started from the small and we expanded to the big. Like we started from communities, we started from tribes, and then we expanded to the cities and whatever, because we wanted to have that experience, see how that fares up. But then the way that things are now, as the result of all of that, it is unsustainable, it is damaging. Like, technically, apart from this 1% of population, nobody else is being particularly happy about it or doing very well. Most people are experiencing just survival, even though we are in 21st century and the world is better than ever before, but most people still feel the same emotions of survival. So what I'm seeing is like we've gone from the tribes to the big, but now because the structure we created at the moment, which now we are experiencing as the result of this process, because we everything in humanity goes through cycles, and now we go to the point where this cycle is ending. There is nothing wrong
Yes.
with what happened prior because it's all part of the experience, but we know everything once ends. The cycle begins, the cycle ends. And at the moment, there was a time where this was a beginning of cycle, which now is ending. So for the new cycle, I feel like we are going in a sense backwards. We go from tribe to the huge. The huge now is maxed out because the totality, the structure we created from that 0 point has now came to the point of completion, which again there is nothing wrong with it, but now we have to go backwards to start to create a new cycle, and it again has to, but in a sense it's starting from the totality, but we withdrawing back to the smaller to become to create a new blueprint, to create something that is more sustainable, that will eventually grow and get again to this point, which then will become the end of the cycle again. So it's like this inward outward
Yeah.
energy. So that's
Yeah.
literally what I'm seeing, what spirit is giving me, that because the way that the totality of the structure at the moment, like the way it had become, is now ending, it's closing, is
Yes.
the totality, is that's it, it's totality, it's, you cannot go any further with that. Now we have to, go backwards. We need to go backwards to again go back to the drawing board. And I feel just like you said, these communities, like, well, is it all going to be perfect? Not really, because people have to face their shit, literally, because
Yes.
otherwise they keep projecting it onto one another. And that's what's happening with the society, with the
Yeah.
full structure. So of course, if you have it in a smaller communities, you cannot escape it, because you live together. So it's like within the world, we know people are projecting stuff onto each other, but they're usually a keyboard warriors, they can shut down the computer. But if your life depends on it, because you live with these people, you share everything, you cannot escape, you have to deal with this. And this is the blueprint, because
I
to
see.
create the fifth dimensional experience, where we stop projecting, it doesn't mean we will never encounter these lower density feelings ever again, but we will understand what's going on here, and say,
Yeah.
like, oh, this showed up in my life, and oh, there is still something unprocessed from the past, and you and we trying to work it out through having this experience, whatever. But it's no longer, it's all this person's fault, and nothing to do with me and stuff, which is how the world operates at the moment. We
Yeah.
we pick some scapegoats, and we say this is all their fault and they should just fix the world, right?
Yeah.
Every time there are election and somebody new is elected, everybody waits for that person to fix everything, and that's impossible. It's impossible for one person to fix everything that
Mm.
they were being passed on. Is impossible. So this
Yes.
is how we need to do it together, and going backwards from the micro to macro, we have to start small, because this is a
Yeah.
big task. This is
It's
a
a
big
big task.
task.
It's interesting as you were describing that, what I was seeing was the Pisces Virgo axis going from the totality down to the micro
Mm,
and
mm,
back and forth. And
mm,
we
mm.
really do go back and forth between that. And I think it's swinging back and forth so that we can find a balance. There'll be a balance that happens
Yeah.
between
Yeah,
the
perhaps
two.
we will not grow to this crazy monopolization we are experiencing, and capitalism we are experiencing at the moment, because again, there is nothing new under the sun. We experienced this before, where the civilization became so big and so evolved and stuff, like Atlantis, and then they self-destruct, because then the ego
Yes.
gets in, what you call it, greed, jealousy, competitiveness, the me better than you, or whatever,
Oh,
this
there we
hierarchy,
go.
yeah,
Yeah.
patriarchal hierarchy, right? So we, us as a humanity, as a human race, but obviously we all just came here to to play different roles, to create, like, it's from the higher perspective, this is just a play. It's just like, oh yeah, let's try this way, let's try this way. We start from somewhere, okay, you got to this point, now you understand it, oh well, this is not working all that great. It used to, but now we kind of gone past this expiry date, so things had to be reset again.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, we always just try and like, oh, what will this experience feel like? And oh, can we avoid making the same mistakes? Or are we able to experience reality differently because everything around us is continuously changing because the creation is evolving, right? So this is what I feel like, and this Libra solar eclipse is the seeding of this new bridge, this new way of relating to each
Yes,
other, the environment, everything, everything that
yes,
is outside of us. This is a new way of relating, and it's going to be manifesting over the next 9 to 20 years, because
yep,
we will not have any more eclipses in Libra now until 2033 on the north node and 2042 on the south node.
right. And it's interesting that Venus is in Scorpio as we're talking about this. This is the changing of the way that we relate to ourselves and to other people. That's what's happening. And
Yeah.
so it's leading the pack right now in Scorpio. Soon everything will be in Scorpio when we'll really be making some changes. I think right about, is it this, when does it move into Scorpio? The 21st of October, right? The sun will move into Scorpio.
Mm, I should have it written somewhere. Sun in Virgo,
Maybe it
Sun in
happens
Libra.
on the 19th, 20, 21st, somewhere around there.
I have so many, so many notes that, well,
Well,
it was
right.
trine,
Well,
sun. Oh yeah, 23rd, 23rd. Sun will
it's
move into a sign
23rd,
of.
so it's late because it's definitely cusp period, me being a cusp sun. So
Because
anywhere.
we had the leap year this year, so that's why everything is one day
Oh,
later.
okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
We've added a day.
But also, as we can see, Venus is now past the final square, closing square to Pluto, because she will have one more conjunction with Pluto this year in the sign of Aquarius before the end of the year. And this is very, I don't know how rare it is, but I think it's interesting that we are experiencing the first time Venus square Pluto in Aquarius was this year. It was in February, and
Right.
it's interesting that we're going to have another square. Sorry, not square, conjunct. First conjunction between Venus and Pluto happened this year in February, February
Yes.
17th, and we will have one more conjunction between Venus and Pluto, whilst she is still the ruler of the South Node. So I find this very interesting
Interesting.
because of this eclipse we are experiencing at the moment, and Venus is in a sign ruled by Pluto, but all already coming towards the final crescent,
Yeah, which is interesting. Very interesting. Wow.
because that's the Aquarian flavor, the breaking free.
Yeah. And then shortly after that, Pluto will move into Aquarius
Yeah,
and
yeah, and
be some time before the next square. Wow.
well, and that will be right after the full moon in Taurus when Pluto moves back into Aquarius, which is again ruled by Venus.
She's important. She's definitely an important part. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I was thinking about how these outer planets are really guiding the evolution, where Pluto is, you know, dissolving the structures that are external to us and helping us at the same time to create a strong internal structure. Neptune is just wiping it all out. That it's over. And
Yeah,
then Uranus is taking out the values of the outer world and bringing in so that we can find a new set of values to follow, because the old values, the old ways we've been relating to people, it's over. We can't do this anymore and have humanity survive and not cause such utter destruction on our planet. So we
exactly.
have to value things differently. We have to value each other differently. And I've been thinking a lot about this whole Virgo Pisces axis that we've been swinging, and it's so interesting that as we have moved toward the totality, the way it's like the way we behave is very Virgonian in that Piscean totality. Like there's so much energy and emphasis put on the details and the hierarchy that comes from the details. Like, okay, so once you see all of the differences put out, you can say it's even like you can do it with colors. Oh, here's all the colors, but this one is my favorite. It's like we put a hierarchy on all of these things.
Yeah.
And that hierarchy of everything, there are better foods, there's better shoes, there's, it's all the way, it's very it permeates every part of our culture, including the value that we place on ourselves
Mhm,
and
mhm,
on other people.
mhm.
So this person is good, this person is bad, I'm bad, this whole thing. And it's so interesting that as we became more toward the totality Piscean age, that this energy of the opposite energy, the microcosm, became so intense. And I think that that's part of what we're breaking free from.
And it's so true, like what you just described, because it is happening completely unconsciously that
Yeah.
we, by stating our favorites, we are causing more division. We are
We
causing and
absolutely.
this is completely subconscious because I never thought about it this way. So thank you for sharing that. But that is literally truth, because by me stating my favorite, well, first thing, it's, as you know, was many times said that, and somebody smart said that, who unfortunately I don't remember who, when they said that when we label anything, we like
You
minimize it.
take it out.
Yeah, we
Yes,
minimize it, we just dwarf it to that one label. So when we state our favorites, in a sense, we like restrict ourselves, because we say like, oh yeah, this is my favorite, so the rest, I'm dividing myself from it because I see this is whatever, less important, less desirable, less favorite. But as we all know, even for someone like myself, I might have my favorite, but I might not feel like it today. Like we always, and this is, I really feel, the mutable aspect of Virgo, this mutability that allow for yourself, not like have a, and this is also what people say about boundaries, because some people have this misconception about boundaries, to like, oh, but isn't that rigid, you like just put yourself in another prison, which could be the case depending on the maturity of Saturn, because you can
yes,
always change your boundary. And this is why I feel that this Virgo and Virgo Capricorn, and also of course Taurus work so well together, because the Taurus is saying that I know what I'm worth, but also I'm continuously metamorphizing, the opposition to Scorpio. So I am never the same person I was yesterday. And the
no,
mutability to Virgo is saying that, well, you can always change it, because the more you grow and evolve, you adjust your environment. And the Capricorn is saying, well, I'm in charge of my life. I'm a creator. Therefore, I can always change the rules. I can always change the boundary. So yeah, my,
absolutely.
my favorite color is this, but maybe today I feel like something different, right?
It's funny because I've been a purple person since I knew that I could pick a color. Oh, you can choose a color that you like. I like purple. And it's been like that my whole life until probably in the last 7 to 10 years, I've started really liking green and really liking brown and really liking gray. I mean, it's still like purple. I mean, like my background has no purple in it, which is so unusual for me because literally all my clothes were purple
Oh, wow.
but it's changed. I mean, I don't even have any purple on anymore. It's so strange. So yeah, we do change. We change, we grow, we like different things. And I think that's healthy.
Well,
And
yeah, because that breaks us free from that attachment to a particular identity, particular
yes,
label. And this is literally what this Mars square to the nodes and Mercury new phase to the eclipse, this is, and the squares between Jupiter and Saturn, and upcoming square between Jupiter and Neptune, which is already active. It's only
yeah,
7-degree orb, and all the rest of it. I mean, like, we can look at any of these aspects and look at anything we're talking about from a different angle, and it's all will be in agreement to that.
yeah, absolutely. But I think the change is I think this is why we're having such yeah, like so many things are shifting out of this totality. And it's so strange for me to think about it. I have to wrap my head around that a little bit more. This energy between the Pisces and the Virgo, which really rules my life.
Yeah, it's this continuous opportunity to release the past and find a deeper meaning whilst you are grounding the experience of being human and having a
Oh,
compassion and forgiveness for wherever you at on a journey, understanding that it will never end. This process of growth and evolution is endless, is timeless, just like
wow.
the spiral. It just will keep going, just like
Thank
the
you.
the Kabbalah tree. You always somewhere on a tree, but while incarnate, while in the physical body, you just moving from one place to another, but you there until you come out of body. So whilst Virgo, whilst physical, whilst having the human experience, the hero's journey experience, there is no final destination. There is the continuous opportunity for growing and improving whilst understanding the meaning of everything that came before and having a compassion and forgiveness for the aspects of ourselves who didn't know any better at the time, and
That is,
also compassion for the aspects of ourselves who understand that even that now is not perfect, because 2 years from now you will look back and think, oh, I wish I knew this.
well, you just hit it, Mila. That's it.
Thank
That
you,
is
Spirit,
it
for the
in a
channel.
that is it right there. And it's that which that's what we'll take from this Piscean age, I believe, is the compassion for what we've gone through as we begin to adjust ourselves for the future. Because we are, both mutable signs. This we're just gonna go back and forth, like you said, like the spiral. Here we come again.
But like it literally, there is nothing new under the sun. It's just the stage has changed. The
The
stage,
stage, the
the stage
scenery.
has changed. Yeah, exactly. But all these energies, and just like we know, if for example I had a boyfriend and I experienced this with a boyfriend, and then I have another boyfriend and what the hell, I'm experiencing the same thing. Why this energy is here again or whatever? Like it's just like now, we experiencing whatever experiencing a personal or collective experience, professional experience, but none of this energy is new. It looks different because we're living in 21st century. We have different technology, we look different, we dress different, we eat different things, but the energy is the same. The energy
Yes,
of separation, guilt,
yes,
shame, self-hate, competitiveness, judgment, that started somewhere in Atlantis, tens of thousands of years ago. So we just
yeah,
come back and we try again.
yep, yep. I think so. I think so.
But the solar eclipse in Libra is saying that there is a new way that we are co-creating, new and old, I
Yes,
guess, new
yeah,
ancient way.
new and old. I mean, we're just going to be experiencing it in a different way this time.
Yes, yes.
But yeah, I think that we're all gearing up to change the way that we relate to ourselves and to other people. We are valuing ourselves. We've gone, I mean, all the planets have been through Taurus and Leo now, so we've learned about how to value ourselves
Mm-hmm,
differently,
mm-hmm.
not from how the outside said we should value ourselves, but from the inside. We've learned to, do self-care. I mean, I could just remember in May writing a lot of this, Taurian things where maybe we've thought in the past, that these things should be supplied outside of ourselves, but we spent a good what the nodes moved into Aries Libra in July of
2023.
2023, right?
Mm-hmm,
And so since then, we're almost done with this journey.
mm-hmm,
But
mm-hmm.
the journey was to shift us out of expecting the outer world to fix us and do those things into no, we have to do this for ourselves. And so yeah, that's part of what's happening. We're learning to what makes us happy, the direction that we want to go. We're learning to let go of the things that somebody else has prescribed for us. Oh no, you got to do it this way. Nope, I'm going to do it this way. And we're learning this internal structure that allows us to
Mm.
hold that emotional growth that we've done so that we can move forward because I think that when we move into the Aquarian age, there'll be a lot of people that are just haven't done that work yet for whatever reason, and it can be I don't know, a little chaotic,
Definitely
but
turbulent.
Yeah, turbulent, yeah. But having an internal structure for our emotional selves is so important. And I really rewrote in my moon report that that's really how I'm now beginning to see Pluto through Capricorn. While at the same time, yes, it's been dissolving the social structures and all of that that no longer serve humanity. That's been happening. But I think more importantly, we've been learning, or maybe equally, here I go, freaking saying something's better than something else. I can't help it.
That is the language, that's why our language is becoming very limiting, because it's
Yes,
programmed to be certain way, which is
yes,
why most of us just can't wait to be telepathic already. But that means that there will be no secrets, it will be
there
complete
will be.
transparency, and that makes, at the moment, it makes us feel uncomfortable and very vulnerable. But it's so interesting because literally, like this dawning time of the Aquarian age, where yes, things are going to become less and less safe and secure with regards to structure, the external structure. But this is the only way where people will be forced to find that sense of safety and security within, if they gather
Yes,
the strength within them, because not everybody is contracted to do that, to go through that process. And then again, is this no better or worse? It's just like having the respect and honoring whatever the soul chose to experience. It's not my business what somebody else chose to experience. So it is very profound, because just like you said, through this transition of the nodes through Aries and Libra, which is coming to the close soon, in January, uh, and it started from the Taurus and Scorpio, which was teaching us about our needs and values, and where we felt disempowered because they were not being met. And then with this Aries Libra, like, okay, where did we externalize power and seek for it outside of ourselves? And that is now coming to the close. And then we're going to have the Virgo Pisces, which is about the adjustments and release, right? And this is literally what we're going through as a humanity, because we are starting to discover that we no longer want to be in codependent relationship, whether that's with our mate, whether that's with our friends, or whether that's with governments, or whether that's with anyone. And it
anything.
doesn't mean we don't need other people or we don't need external structures, but not the way they are at the moment. So the
Yes,
entire everything, but it starts from within, all structures, but it starts from the internal structure, because that's the foundation. Is Taurus, the second sign of the zodiac on the zodiacal wheel. Everything has to be restructured, but it starts from
yes.
within. And this Uranus is doing a very good job of shaking our foundation with regards to what's going on outside of us, to take us within, because it's on Capricornian Deacon. Saturn is on, Cancer Deacon is saying, no, you need to understand who you really are and tune in to find the guidance you're seeking. So we stop being codependent and continuously reliving this triangle, which I've been talking about so much recently, this victim, persecutor, and savior. We're done with this
Mhm.
shit. We're done with this shit. This is not part of Aquarian age, because it is hierarchical and it's not equal. And this is the new relational paradigm based on equality. Doesn't mean that some person has it all figured out, but it's just mean, we are open and honest and transparent about where we at,
Yep.
and then match with people who we feel in alignment, rather than me trying to match with people that I'm like, well, I already learned these lessons before. Doesn't make me better, but I'm learning something different now. So I
Yes.
need to match with people who are learning the same thing as what I'm learning. It's like, like we look at it this way and like, oh, well, isn't that hierarchical? Well, again, the system we have in place is not perfect. It's what we know. But it's like you're trying to get someone from the 10th grade to go and learn the same stuff as someone from the third grade, and the guy in the 10th grade will go like, I already learned this,
Yeah.
so
See, I don't
it's
see that as hierarchical though, because I think just like you said, the 11th grader isn't going back to the third grade. It's just that they are different. And it's okay to notice the differences, Virgo, but it's not okay to judge them. That's bad.
mhm,
Just
mhm.
because you've moved from the first grade to the second grade does not mean you say, oh, poo poo on the first grade.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
people
because
do that. that happened in school. I can remember being in the third grade and having an older kid saying, "Oh, you're just a puny third grader," or something like that.
Well, everybody's gone through it.
Yeah, I mean, that does happen, but I think that that is part of the consciousness that will change as
Hmm.
people understand that we're all moving through these fields of consciousness, and where each soul stops to take that information in is where they are. It doesn't mean that they're bad, less than, or anything like that. It's just a lesson that they require and that they've chosen. And I think that, to me, that's like a very aquarium way of looking. It's
Mhm,
very
mhm, mhm.
objective.
And it's
And
also like when we look at the cast in any movie or theater or anything, not everybody can be the main heroine or something,
no,
or not everybody wants to be the cleaner, or not everybody wants to be the taxi driver, So
right.
that's what I mean. Like us as a soul, so it is like a casting. Us as a soul just decide, okay, I'll do that one, you do that one, so we can have the contrast. So
Yeah,
because we're talking about something which is not actually possible to explain with our limited language. We're talking about something that is so beyond our human comprehension, the way this universe and the soul operates, because it
yeah.
doesn't have this limited brain we have, which is just a translator or transitor or whatever. This
Hmm.
is something, this is a intelligence beyond our comprehension. Again, not to make us feel small or like, oh, like I'm so stupid
Yeah,
or something. No, it's just different, right?
yeah,
But we're trying to give language to something that is beyond our language. So like I'm trying to understand from the human perspective of being incarnate that, oh, but I don't want to have this experience, I don't like it, it doesn't feel good. And then at the same time trying to explain to someone like, but your soul chose it, you put your hand up and said, okay, but I'll do all of this. And then at the same time uh, honor the feelings we have in, and not trying to gaslight ourselves or gaslight other people or judge other people. So that's what I mean. There is so much complexity in this that it is not, like, I don't think it's fully possible at the stage where we are at in our evolution to fully understand it. But we already getting glimpses, and we are continuously growing, evolving, and we will see the dawning start of the transmutation, I guess, of our brain, to the Aquarian version in Uranus in Gemini, transit, I suppose.
yeah. I would say so. As we evolve, we're gonna be my friend. He used to say, as you find a piece of the puzzle just gets bigger. Like it just because it's infinite, and we're only
Exactly.
working on a piece at a time. So yeah, it's just an interesting world. Kind of exciting. It's like we've dove into this crazy video game that we're trying to figure out which
Exactly.
passageway to go down and
You see with your Pluto in, Pluto in no, Capricorn, Pluto in Virgo, 29 degrees, and now this Pluto in Capricorn, 29 degrees is trying in it. You go like, I'm excited, I put the work in, like I want my, like harvest, yeah, right? But then the first grader will look at it and go like, well, I'm not excited. I still have all these other grades to go through or whatever.
sure,
So
sure.
it's just we are all experiencing the reality through our filter, which is very, very different. And again, doesn't make somebody's filter better than yours, or it doesn't mean
Nope.
that just because my filter is this, then I don't uh, I don't honor that somebody else is seeing it through different perspective. But like I said, like this is an invitation with this, the new moon solar eclipse in Libra, which will be evolving over the past decade or two, to try to find this more neutral way of perceiving reality, and at the same time allowing for this curiosity, expansion, a new way of identifying things, which will break the pattern. We're just trying to come closer to the middle point, to the neutral point, rather than just be inflammation,
Mhm.
inflated,
Inflated,
like
yeah,
from one or the other polarity, which is what we've been experiencing until this point. You are the good guy, you are the bad guy. Well, guess what?
yeah,
We've all been everything. So go and
yes,
take your pick.
yeah, yeah, I agree. It's definitely interesting times. And I woke up feeling this morning like, oh wow, we are definitely getting ready to build something new. I don't know why I feel that way. I don't know what it is, but it's different.
Oh yeah, yeah, because it's the new phase conjunction. Yeah, different. The first one was the Aries one, which was new phase conjunction with the North Node, and now we have the new phase
Hmm.
conjunction with the South Node.
Right.
So this is what changed the frequency. The energy has changed.
Yeah. And I felt it this morning, so I'm thankful I can also walk.
Oh yeah, yeah. Adrienne is fully recovered after her little encounter with the snake.
With the little snake, yeah.
Well, I don't know if the snake was little, but
I
you
don't
know.
either, because I never saw it. I felt it
Yeah,
though.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, and how symbolic, right?
Yeah, how symbolic. Yeah. Pluto sitting on my sun.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Snake
and
came to kiss me.
exactly. And also with this, it happened right after the eclipse in Pisces. So
Yep,
you
sure
definitely
did.
closing chapters of the past and preparing for this brand new chapter of becoming someone completely different.
Yep. And I'm taking this new journey with snake medicine, literally coursing through my body. So should be an interesting future.
Well, that is definitely a Pluto Pluto Sun connection.
Yep, definitely. No doubts about it.
Yeah.
Can't get any clearer.
But what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and you are the
That's
proof of that.
that's what I'm saying. That is what I'm saying. So, yeah,
It
this is
is
good times.
it is incredible. It really is. Like it doesn't look like that on the surface, but I mean, I don't know how to which extent I'll be observing the journey in a physical body, but I'm excited to see where this is going to lead.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, to me, even though we're looking at such harshness in the outer world, I just feel like it it's the darkness, it's like the darkness before the dawn. You know how they say it's
Exactly,
darkest before the dawn? I think that's
exactly.
what we're looking at, and something new is coming. So,
It's like, even before the baby is born, it is in dark, right?
yeah,
It is in dark.
absolutely.
So
It's in
it,
dark and it's in pain.
yeah,
You know,
yes.
there's a certain amount of suffering and struggle to birth. And I mean, on all kinds of different layers. So yeah, we're birthing something new, and it can be very uncomfortable in places, for all the mothers out there. For we all know that birth is not comfortable.
Mm.
But the rush of joy and after the birth has happened is, that's definitely worthy. One isn't better than the other.
And
They're both necessary.
imagine the souls that are going to be birthed tomorrow with this chart.
Wow.
And I'm sure there will be some for sure. There are
Yeah,
babies
this
born
is
every
this
day.
is somebody's birth chart.
Exactly. I'm like, man, this kid, it's gonna be something else.
I mean, for real. You know, this person is going to be a well-balanced person when it comes to relationships.
But
Or they're or maybe they're not and they've come to focus on that for their lifetime because that's what this is. This is about, achieving balance.
but this energy lives within everyone. It's just
True.
it's gonna be embodied and fully manifested in a being.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
And as the Libra, we need to see it, to see the contrast, right? To see the mirror.
Yes.
So
Yes.
this energy is being downloaded into every single being that is alive at the moment, but
Yes.
it's also going to be brought forward as an embodiment of the person whose birth chart is going to be, and that is the Libra. That is the
That
mirror
is the
in,
Libra. Yes. So interesting.
right?
It's an amazing world we live in.
It is. It is. And nobody said it was going to be easy.
Nobody said it was going to be easy. No.
But when the curtains go down and all the members of the cast come for their final ovation, nobody's no anymore playing the role. Everybody is just who they are, right?
Yep. And then we start a different movie,
Exactly. So yeah. So
which is
that's
coming. We're going to start the Pluto and Aquarius movie very soon.
next month. We can say next month already because it's October 1st today.
I know, right?
New month.
Yeah.
So, Adrian, do we have anything else to add?
No, I think we're there.
I think
We
we're
have
good.
combed through this chart.
Yeah, I
I
think
mean,
tell me.
that focus is totally on Libra right now. We're having the focus on Libra, so
But not in the necessarily outward way because Venus is in Scorpio, so this is
right.
bringing a lot of stuff from the inside. The Libra is just
Yes,
mirroring it, but what you are experiencing, what you are feeling through whatever is getting triggered from the external happenings and people around each of us, it's bringing up something from inside the Scorpio,
yeah,
excavating the
absolutely.
past, the 29 degrees of Capricorn. We are transmuting and having the opportunity to transcend energy as all this time.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
So yeah, so we should all give ourselves grace and compassion because most of what we're going through is not even ours.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Some of it's ours.
Yeah. Well, it took on a form through whatever experience we had, but the
Yeah.
energy is not the energy. I mean, we embodied the
No,
energy,
it's
but
not.
it's been
We're
around
just
before
using
we
it.
came here.
Yeah, we're just using it, passing it on to the next person.
Oh, that's it. All right then.
All right, I'm gonna
Awesome.
stop share. There we are.
Cool. Thank you, Adrienne. That was a
Well,
treat.
yeah, that was good.
Two astrologers under one roof, you know.
The astrologers, really, there's three of us here right now, almost
Yeah,
four.
few more around, few more around. So
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, cool. So Adrian, tell people where to find you
you
apart from the
can,
farm.
yeah, you can find me on my website, JessKarenAstrology.com. I also have a Facebook page by the same name, Jess Karen Astrology. I have a Substack account that I put my moon reports on, and you can find that either directly through Substack at Jess Karen Astrology or through my website. All
Absolutely.
places lead to it. So,
And I put all the contacts in the description, but I just wanted to let everybody know that Adrian is cooking some new projects that will be on her YouTube. So make sure to go over to subscribe to Just Kidding Astrology, her YouTube channel, because there'll be some treats coming out soon that Adrian
coming
is
out
working
soon.
on.
Yes.
So definitely you might want to check it out.
Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome. So until next time, everyone, thank you for joining us. Probably will be on the opposite side of Atlantic at that time. But
Right.
thank you again. And thank you, Adrian. And
Thank you.
until next time. Bye, everyone.